Hey, folks, welcome to the Generational Gap. I'm Robert, your resident Gen Xer slash boomer, I guess, from what I hear. And we've also got John over there tonight. John, our resident millennial. John, how are you doing?
That's me. I'm doing fantastic,
Hang,
as always.
hanging and banging, brother?
Um, Not as much of the banging as usual, but it is what it is.
You know it's still banging when you're doing it yourself.
Oh, fair enough. Then yeah, plenty of that.
Banging that fist.
what,
John,
what is it, Jill? Right?
no, women Jill
Pam-
off.
Pamela Henderson.
Women Jill. Men
Mm,
Jack.
gotcha.
Hey, John, before we go any further, talk about Friday. Talk about Friday. Tell them what's going on.
Yes,
Talk about it.
yes. The reason that this episode is titled "It's Crappening." This is our last episode before our charity stream for St. Jude's Children's Hospital on Friday, the 19th of April, in the year of our Lord, 2019. We'll be doing 12 hours from noon to midnight Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you're there. Make sure you donate. Make sure you make fun of us in the chat. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
We'll
because
be there when we having.
we've got to make we've got to tell them to do that, right? For
Right,
free.
right, right. We have
Like
to
they don't
instruct them.
feel
Well,
free. I believe
we'll
they
see.
believe that's an inalienable right, John.
We'll see, Robert. That means that now when they do it, we can be like, oh, well, we told you to. So it kind of loses its
Kind
effect.
of makes them our bitches.
Right, exactly,
Is that what it is? Is that what we're going with?
absolutely. Yep,
So,
we got some good guests lined up too.
yeah.
Uh, oh yeah, we got our Stephen Ignoramus and our J Edgar doing a debate with you, Robert. I don't know if you knew about this,
I've heard a
but
rumor.
you're gonna be debating about gun control and the meaning of the Second Amendment
The
at
meaning. Oh, it has meaning. Oh, the
and
meaning.
that'll be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until about 9 p.m. And then who knows what's gonna happen after that?
I feel like that conversation is there's a good chance it's going to go on for longer than we expect, but I'm down for
I'm
it.
fine
It
with that.
depends on
Yeah,
the
we
have
have time to fill.
we talked to Stephen Ignoramus? Has he got like time formatting set up? He's got some questions. He's got some things rolling. He's got any
I've
ideas?
not been involved in the process at all because I wanted to be able to stay out of it so that I'm not influencing anything.
But wait, you're not involved
There's
in the
more.
debate.
Oh, yeah, no, but I'm not trying. I don't want to be accused of having like loaded questions or anything like that in there.
I thought the I what? No loaded question? Fuck loaded. Come on. How much fun is it going to be if there's no loaded questions?
Oh shit, dude, it's Seawall. What's up,
Seawall in the
brah?
house. What's up?
He's putting on Crusader armor. Is that even a thing? Wouldn't that just be plate armor with a cross on it? Pretty
Uh,
damn sure.
yeah, but it's how the
Guess you
cross
would have
is
a no.
laid.
You'd have a cross on the tabard. You wouldn't even have a cross on the armor. Seawall's fake news. It's confirmed.
It's all about the helmet.
Oh well, yeah. The helmet has a cross on it, right
No,
on the
wings.
faceplate.
It'll have wings.
Ah, that seems impractical. It
But you
seems
look
very
cool.
impractical.
But you look cool. So what difference is
Yeah,
that gonna
I
make?
mean, you will look cool, but that's very impractical.
Isn't
It's kind
looking
of like
cool more
those.
important
It's
than
kind of like that
practicality?
helmet with the horns right here. It's like that's
Loki?
fucking stupid. Yeah, that's fucking stupid. You
Yeah,
want to talk about someone being able to grapple you and just throw you to the ground and mace you in the
I'd
face?
like
No,
to
fuck
see you
that.
stand in Loki's face and tell him it's stupid.
Loki, like the Norse god? No, wouldn't
Right.
happen.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but no, I'm just talking about that helmet in general with like horns on it. Stupid design,
John,
just really dumb.
I have to tell you, I keep watching different things, and I'm getting a 2020 boner for Andrew Yang. I really am.
Yeah, that's been big.
He's pushed himself up to a 3% share.
Yeah, I refuse to count him out because of what happened with Trump in 2016. I refuse to count him out because he's got a lot of 4chan support, and that's really what helped Donald Trump out.
Well,
Besides the fact that he's a cult of personality on his own, and Andrew Yang really isn't, but I still wouldn't count him out.
Well, one thing that he's added to his conversation is that he's been talking about automation and especially in the Midwest in manufacturing jobs that have gone away and people put out of work and that kind of thing, and towns having are struggling to survive. Um, but now, as part of his thing is our goal is to fix the problems that got Donald Trump elected.
We'll see if that works. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of his like policies in general, but I'm not going to deny the fact that he's charismatic and he's got the support he needs. And I know Seawall says he's a share blue shill up, and that's nice. But I feel like that's going to backfire on 4chan. They're going to end up giving him more support than, yeah.
Well, I mean, his number. He said that they're pulling in hundreds of of dollars now every week. He was on Ben Shapiro April 7th,
Yeah.
for like an hour and a half. But
That's about how long Ben Shapiro runs.
But
his show.
he's said that they're up to a 3% share now. And he's definitely going to be on the stage, and he's looking for his opportunity to take Donald Trump on in real debate. He's like
Yeah.
Donald, he looks at me,
That's going to be tough.
It's going to be Donald Trump against, what did he say, the Chinese guy that knows math, something like that. Yeah, or the Asian guy that knows math. He's like, but
yeah, he is the accelerationist candidate. Seawall, he really is. But I mean, I don't support him, but I'm not counting him out. I think he has a real chance at being the Democratic nominee, so long as it's not rigged against him, like it was the last election was rigged against Bernie. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Well, I don't count him out at all.
It's interesting that you say, like, you talk about his policies. We've talked about the UBI. And in talking with Ben Shapiro, there was a reference made that struck out to me because of our off-mic conversation on Saturday.
That's not fair. You can't use that against me.
About Thomas Paine supporting a UBI.
Yeah.
Right? And what he called a citizen dividend, in a sense, basically, which that's the approach that Yang is taking. This is not a UBI; it's a freedom dividend. We all invest in our country, so we should get returns back from that.
Yeah, I mean, you can call it what you want, but it is a UBI.
Well, sure, I understand what it is on the base, but how you sell it to the American people is going to be the big deal.
But like Seawall says in the chat, Finland tried the UBI and they banned it in less than a year. And we have a much larger population by orders of magnitude larger than Finland.
But is there any place where it has worked for, say, roughly 37 years?
Alaska.
Everybody
who also has a tiny population.
It doesn't. The tiny population is fine,
and their UBI is also privatized.
Actually, it's not privatized. It's based off oil. It's based off what the state sells in oil. What goes out of the state in oil.
So wait. So you're saying the oil companies there are state funded?
I guess they're not owned by the state, but they have set it up with the government. They made a deal with the government that profits would come back.
So UBI is privatized there.
Alaska itself, as a state, does get money from the oil companies to be able to pump oil out of Alaska, right? But
and then they give those to their citizens,
right? And
they give those.
But Yang's piece that is going to be based off, he's like, it needs to be based off of a commodity like that, and he's
but what do we have for the whole country?
He's going to base it on technology. As our technology is advancing and it's moving us forward, he said it needs to be technologically based. And that makes sense to me, because that is one of the biggest industries in this country is, the tech rise. And I don't disagree with that.
I don't see, at least like the social media tech, getting much bigger for a while.
The what tax?
but the social media tech. But
Oh, the
I mean,
social
yeah,
media.
we have other technologies, obviously.
Well,
But
right, but you got to, and that's what that's what he's talking about. All these things that shit, like he talks about his father. His father has 49 patents under his belt for all sorts of different technological
yeah,
things, and he's like that we are, he's citing this as he sees this as our fourth industrial revolution. This is because this is a dramatic change where we're moving
yeah,
from
it is.
more manual things to AI and technology and automation doing things for us.
Well, yeah,
And
software and hardware. I mean,
he said it's going to be a
yeah.
difficult thing because he said with every revolution like that, every industrial revolution, there have been automations and there have been riots and there's been these things that have happened. And he expects that there's going to be some hiccups along the way as we transition through this revolution. Um, but
I like what Seawall said, and that's funny.
I
Yeah,
do
he
not.
says, hang on, let me read it out real quick. Yang UPI is based on unicorn farts and the hopes of stage 4 cancer patient orphans. But speaking of stage 4 cancer patient orphans, uh, make sure you turn into our live stream on Friday for the St. Jude's Children's Hospital.
No, see, well, he's not going to tax patent holders. What he's talking about, the main source of the income is going to be a VAT tax.
Yeah, which is I don't think is a good idea. It's not
You know
working
what?
in those
Whenever a
European
comp
countries that everyone likes to cite. It's not working. They're stepping back on those,
Sure,
and
and he's
so
only going to run it at half the normal rate that other countries do. But the upside to the
well, he would
VAT
only have
tax,
to because of the population difference. He would have to run it at half as much.
right?
But even
It doesn't
so,
matter. But the
but even
problem,
so, it's the same. It's the same ratio.
no, what it does is it stops companies like Amazon from going 2 years in a row with paying no fucking taxes, no
Yeah, it's
money
almost like we
going
should
into
move
the
to a sales
economy.
tax
No,
system instead of an income
we
tax.
do have a sales
Weird.
tax system.
Yeah, but we should
You're
move
talking
to a
about a fair
only.
tax system,
Well, yeah, which is only sales tax and
right?
also includes a UBI.
But that's I find it very disheartening whenever I see that these companies making billions of dollars put nothing into the economy from the tax standpoint.
From taxes, yeah, but they do pump money into the
When we pay
economy.
more than a multi-billion-dollar company like Amazon, that sucks
I mean,
because
so
they
hang
can
on. Do you think that
loophole.
Amazon doesn't pay like property tax, things like that?
Oh, that's local level shit. Yeah, they pay property taxes
Yeah,
that
good.
I'm sure on some of their buildings,
Yeah,
but or
absolutely.
on their buildings, but they don't pay taxes in as a corporation. They're getting away without having to do that so far these last two
Right.
years.
And see, Seawall's got it right in the chat. If you replace all taxes with the VAT tax and then force the government to keep the budget at what the last year's income, and if you have a large windfall, then maybe you could consider a dividend. But I'm not even talking about a VAT tax, right? What I'm talking about is not it's not vastly different than a VAT tax, but it's different.
It was
Just
he
just
did he
sales,
did throw
just
something out there
everything you buy.
when he was I think it was on CNN. They were doing a town hall with different Democratic candidates. He was on there as well, and he was talking about. He said he wanted to do something fun with taxes, and he said basically, um, one of the things he wants to institute is he wants to make sure that like you know all all your basic public information, right, is always provided to you from the IRS or from the tax body so that you don't have to go. So, like, taxes aren't like a pain in the ass to fill out. It'll be, they want to simplify what you have to do on your end, right? But at the same time, he's like, when you do pay your taxes, we also want to show you, give you a breakdown of what those taxes are going to go for, and then
Yeah,
he wants to leave a certain percentage that you get to
that you
choose
get to
what it
choose.
goes to. So you basically it's like I don't know, make taxes a little more enjoyable
Yeah,
for people, something a little more transparent and a little more enjoyable and easier to deal with. You
right.
know when you're going through it, which I thought was I mean he's it's just interesting that he said something like that. It's like okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that he
No,
wants to.
stop taking my income, and then we can talk after that.
Well, he wasn't. He isn't.
Yeah, I know.
It's that goddamn
Yeah,
government. That
you still
wants
gotta fucking
that
take the
needs
income.
funding. They need money from something, and they haven't figured out the right way to get it. But it's
Yeah,
the best
it has to
option.
be income. It can't be anything else. That's
Well,
my problem.
well, it
Stop
is.
the income
They get
tax,
it
and then we can
different
talk
ways.
after
They
that.
get it both ways, right? Your
Oh, they
local
get it
level gets
left
it off.
fucking.
Your local
They
level
get
gets it off state taxes. You
left,
know,
right, and center. They get your fucking money.
and
Yeah.
then the federal government. Yeah. But so, how much? Let me ask you this, John. So,
Hmm.
if we talk about the fair tax, am I correct that the fair tax becomes a federal tax as opposed to a state level tax, or it breaks down the tax that you pay on something between the two? Because the federal government still needs tax money to
Yes.
support
Yeah. So what?
programs.
No. What you do is the state sets their sales tax, right? And then what happens after that is the federal government taxes the states. So you
Okay.
have
Okay. So, well, actually, our county, your county sets your tax rate, right?
sure,
Okay.
and
So,
then the state taxes the counties, and then
and
the
then the
federal
federal government's
government
going to tax the state.
taxes the states. Right.
So, are all states taxed equally, or is it taxed
Um,
on population?
I doubt it would be taxed on population
Wouldn't it
because I
need to
didn't
be?
because that's not an indicator of how much money you're making though.
Well, I guess it would just have to be based off the amount of taxes you brought in, right?
Right. It'd have to be
Um,
probably a percentage of what you brought in.
does that not scream that there would need to be I guess a required amount that is expected?
No.
Does that make sense? Like it's just going to be based off spending alone. There's just no.
No, the government will have to learn how to live within its means like everybody else.
Okay, so
Sorry.
there wouldn't be there wouldn't be an expectation that each state needs
Right.
to
It's
supply
you
this
get
much,
this
right?
much, this is how much you have, spend that and no more.
Because the reason I'm asking that is, if there's some mechanism there that would cause states to drive taxes higher than they need to be to meet goals for the government. Like the government says, okay, we need
Right.
this much tax money to meet our
No,
budget
it'd
needs.
be
So each
it
state needs to come up with this much or an aggregate number.
no, it'd be a percentage of what you took in that year. So yeah, I mean places that have higher populations would definitely spend more and have and take in more tax revenue because people would be spending more. There's more people to spend money in the economy. And I mean, think about the money that you spend every day. You spend money constantly, every day. And that's just you.
Say that again. What was? I'm sorry. I was reading Seawall and hearing you at the same time.
No, I was saying, think about the money that you spend every day.
Right. Right. Well, I get that.
Yeah, and that's just you. Not even like all the other people in your county, let's even say. So that I mean that's a lot of money that's going to be spent. That's spent every day. That yes, no, I don't think every state has or every county has sales tax, but most of them do.
Oh yeah, every county should have some sales tax.
I'm not sure if that's the
I
same
think.
throughout the entire country, but
Oh,
even
you mean like maybe a state sets a tax rate for the entire state?
or even I'm sure there's
I,
some. I know there's some that are low, like 4%. Like ours is in our county, it's 7%.
sure,
And,
and that's gonna
and
vary
that's
from
not.
county to county,
Yeah, of course, and that's
right?
actually not considered very low, which I was not aware of. I thought that was actually pretty low. But I guess my only other reference point is Chicago County, which is like 11%. So I was like, oh, hey, 7% is not so bad. But apparently there's places where it's like 4%.
Right. So you've got to, you think about some place like I'm assuming Chicago County has Chicago in it, right?
Well, it is the greater
Right.
Chicago area, yeah.
So as there's a decline in jobs, revenue, or a decline in a city, a county, that kind of thing. Because Chicago is kind of like, not the great city it used to be, right? Well, tax rates are typically going to increase because you've got to push the money, which
Sure.
creates this fucked up cycle where
Well,
okay,
so
you only make the situation worse, right?
no, I mean yes, the sales tax will go up in most places, right? But what everyone forgets is that you're keeping all of your income. So
Well, you're keeping
that money that's taken out of your check every week or every 2 weeks,
part
depending
of
on
the
when you get
money
paid.
because Social
No, I'm saying you
Security
get to
won't
keep
go
all of
away.
it.
Social Security won't
It
go away.
to go away. It needs to go away as well.
Well,
But
just because it needs
even
to, but
so,
you'll still have money
even
coming
so,
out of your check.
yeah. Even so, that's fair. We're talking about the tax though. Your federal or your state income tax, depending on what state you're in, is still taken out. You get to keep that money,
Right,
which means you have more money in your pocket, which means that yes, so while prices
right.
do go up a little bit due to the sales tax, you are able to pay for more things even with that.
Well, it seems like that these latest tax cuts, that's what they were intended to do. Actually,
Yeah,
was
but that
to
never really does it. That never really does
well,
it.
sure. Well, look at
You
yours for
can't
instance.
it yeah.
Where your return was at this year. 10 years ago, you should have been pulling back, anywhere from $500 to $1,000 in your taxes, but that's no longer a thing because they've kind of tried to tweak it to where you're being taxed at a rate where you will just break even at the end of the year should you
Yeah.
be doing a straight filing with no dependents, that kind of thing. I
Yeah.
think that's what they're trying to do because to to stop people from putting down four dependents when they don't have any, so they don't have any taxes taken out, and then
Mhm.
they get all pissy at the end of the year because they owe tax money and then they don't pay it, and then that just costs more money to try and get that money, right? Um,
Right.
but and speaking, I got to mention this. This is funny because I went in to try and finish filing our taxes and get it sent off today, and I had one piece.
Jesus, you procrastinator.
Well, no, we had things. I mean, it's the day.
Whatever. Yeah.
We were expecting to owe money, so we weren't that rushed. When you owe money, you're not that eager to, you know. But now we wind up not owing money. So, but I was going to go file it, so I go on the tax site and I go to log in, and it pops up a message, and it said the site is temporarily unavailable
Oh shit.
because of scheduled maintenance. And I'm like,
What? That's a horrible timing.
what fucking tax service schedules maintenance on April fucking 15th? What the
Yeah.
fuck? But I think it's probably just a standard message that pops up because maybe they are just getting a lot of traffic because it is
Yeah.
like Free Tax Act. And anybody that's doing free taxes this year, now that
Mhm.
people have seen that the government's going to be shut down from doing free taxes anymore. I'm sure maybe more people are scrambling to get on the free tax sites and do them that way this one last time.
Yeah.
I just thought it was highly ironic that they have a
Yeah.
scheduled
Probably
maintenance
shouldn't
message on April
procrastinate.
15th.
Yeah. I mean, you should probably do it earlier. But you get like what is it? You get like 1099 or
I do, yeah. Mine's
yeah,
contract. Yeah,
1099.
actually,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. For the most part, they just consider it your own business.
Yeah.
It covers freelance, contract labor, that kind of thing. Um,
Yeah.
Actually,
Fair enough.
I don't even get 1099s. I just report my income because I have, my
Mm.
portal keeps track of all my information. They even have a setup on the portal to where you can just kind of plug all your numbers in and it'll give you your tax numbers, that
That's
kind of thing.
nice.
But one thing I did find out, because we when we file our taxes, we try and do this thing where it's like, okay, which is more beneficial for us to file separately or together, that kind of thing. And one thing I found out was like there was, I didn't make a huge clearing last year, but
Mm.
I wound up finding out that like there's just a base amount of tax I'm stuck paying no matter what. Because
Yeah.
it gave me, it was like, okay, you're gonna have to pay $400 in taxes, and I'm like, okay, well, let me see, if I've got any deductions I can put in. So I started putting in some deductions that I could write off for the home office, this, that, and the other thing that,
And you definitely got
and
dependents.
and nothing, and even with a dependent, nothing changed. The number never changed. So there was like just this base amount that I had to pay. Now, when I took it in and I joined it up as a joint return, where she was owing like $100 and I was owing $400, as soon as we put it together, oh, your return is going to be like $1,500.
What? I want to file with you guys. That'd be awesome.
Get married, man. Apparently, that's a good thing.
I'll marry both of you. Let's do it.
John,
is that legal?
Really? Do you think we would have you?
I mean, just for tax reasons. Like, we don't have to fuck or anything. It's fine. Just for tax reasons.
Yeah, I don't know that that's legal in this state.
No.
Or country. Do we have any states that allow for a 3-party marriage?
Maybe Utah. But I don't think they do either.
Almost as though Trump reformed the tax code. Yes, they did make changes to the tax code. But
whatever.
It was good changes for corporations that don't have to.
Like, yes, Daddy Trump didn't take as much of my money as Obama did. Like, whatever, get fucked. You're still stealing my money,
right? And we still can't see his tax return, so fuck him.
I really don't care about that at all.
You really don't want to. You're not even just curious as to why he's had him hidden for so long. Been so.
I know why he's had him hidden.
Why?
Yeah, because if he were to release them now, it would be seen as a move of weakness.
But why didn't he release them
as capitulating?
Why didn't he release them in the beginning, like every other president in the United States?
For the same reason, it's a power move. Same reason.
Okay, but the problem with that power move is, that I don't see that as a power move, because the intelligent people don't see it as a power move. We determine that as, okay, what is it you don't want us to see? I mean, why is it a power move to not be transparent about something that
it's not about being transparent. It's about the people, people demanding it of him, and then so to give in to it shows a form of weakness.
Seawall points out, he says Trump is under audit. Every tax attorney will tell you to never release it, and I understand.
I mean, that's probably true too.
I understand he's made that claim, but the IRS has also made claim that there's nothing about what's going on with his taxes that would prevent him from releasing them.
And dude, Seawall, learn how to spell, bro.
If he releases his taxes, attorney the IRS
totally wrong.
Gotcha him if there is any, and that's the thing. If there's any
inconsistency.
But that's I guess that's my whole point. Is like, why are you the only president who is not willing to be transparent with the people that you're serving?
Yeah, that is I don't care about transparency in that way. I'd rather see transparency in other ways than his tax return. That's petty.
Would it? Well, what if? And if his tax returns were to show that there was corruption in his business,
then Muller would have found it.
Huh?
The IRS would have found it, and Muller would have been on top.
Well, if he's being audited, maybe they're looking at them. If he's under audit, but I'm just saying,
auditing is not the same.
I don't think Muller got a hold of his taxes. I'm
sure he got every bit of anything he wanted.
I don't know. I mean, I'd be curious about that, because you would think that would be something Mueller would have talked about over the 2 years. Was that they had
because if he was returns. It's something you would want to look into, because if he was being paid by Russians, as was probably the claim, he'd have to report that on his taxes, or not, in which case he would be guilty of tax evasion.
Well, you can look at his books and not his taxes to find that out, though, right?
Unless he didn't put it in the books, right? So. And you'd have to look on the taxes to see if there was evasion or not. So, and yeah, of course, there's no legal thing stopping Trump. It's only
it's not about pulling my head out. It's about the simple fact that whatever he fucking says, the bottom line is It's like John said, it's some stupid fucking power move that he wants.
Well, yeah.
And it's stupid. It's pointless. And it tells me that it's the same
I
thing
don't
with
think it's
everything
pointless.
else. It's tells me that he's got something to hide.
I don't think it's pointless. I think that it's pandering to his base. Like most of the things he does and says is about keeping his base around. And so if he were to give up his tax returns, his base would be pissed off. Same thing with the wall, with the whole, shutdown of the government and holding the government hostage, as it were, in order to get what he wants. That's because he's pandering to his base, and he needs his base to stay around in order for him to get reelected next year.
Yeah, well, it's it goes back to that whole thing. Okay, you didn't know any of this shit was going on in your organization, right? It's these kind of things that it just adds to that, you know, smoke and mirrors, smoke and mirrors.
Right.
I mean, if
And
you're
I'm
such a
not,
great
and I'm,
businessman, why can't you let us see that? I mean, that's the part. It bugs me that that he's deceptive in that way. I see it more as deception as opposed to power play.
yeah, no, I think it's a little bit of both.
You know,
Really, I mean, it's keeping things in the dark so that everything that he pumps himself up with can't be refuted. Whether it's substantiated or not is different, but it can't be refuted, and that's the important thing to him. If you can't say that's not true, then he's good. Even if you can't prove that it is true, that's irrelevant. As long as you can't say that's not true, as long as you can't prove the negative, he's safe. No, not that I'm saying that that's a good thing or a
it's
good
a
way
character
to
flaw in my
run
opinion.
things,
I mean, it's a
but
huge.
that's what he's doing.
It's
That's his strategy.
it's just a huge character flaw in my opinion. It really is.
Mm.
It's that kind of thing. It's like when Ross Perot ran.
Oh God.
He talked about being a great businessman. Well, he was a successful businessman, and he was willing to he had no problem proving that. He's like you can look at my business, you can look at everything, and see how I made my money, what I've
Hmm.
done. Whereas Trump, I mean, we really just have to go on his word of mouth. We have to take what he says at face value because he's not going to offer any proof. It was kind of like what was it in the they had to establish his worth, his net worth, and I want to say
Yeah.
it was like $3 or $5 billion of his net worth was what he valued his name at.
I believe it was more like 10 billion.
Well, no, his
That
total
that's
was
what he
10 billion.
said.
No, his total was 10 billion. There were
Mm.
actually part of that 10 billion was assets, but there was a
Oh yeah, of
chunk of it,
course.
but between $3 and $5 billion, I think that he said that his branding, his name,
Mm.
was that much of his worth. And I guess I can kind of see it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's mostly what he does. Is his branding. That's what he's good at.
okay,
Is branding.
so is that the same? So like Amazon is part of their net worth, is part of Jeff Bezos' net worth, the Amazon brand.
I mean, absolutely.
Is that
If
how
you see,
businesses translate that?
well, yeah. I mean, think about if you see something that says, brought to you by Amazon or powered by Amazon or whatever, you're gonna have a certain like trust in that company, or at least a feeling about it, whatever that feeling might be.
Right.
You're gonna feel a certain type of way about that brand.
I just didn't know if like if that's what
Like it's
companies
the reason.
most
Like
companies do that if they whenever they do
yeah,
like a financial statement that part of their net worth is just the brand name itself. I didn't I
right.
him doing that was the first time I'd ever seen it done.
It's probably determining what eyes are on the brand. Is my guess. So it's like when Netflix comes out with something, it's like, oh, Netflix original, right? They're putting their brand on that product, whatever it might be, and you're more likely to watch it because it's a Netflix original, or more likely not to because
Right.
it's a Netflix original. So putting the brand on it, makes people feel a certain type of way.
Because there are a lot of hotels out there that he didn't build,
Yeah,
he didn't pay for, but the only thing, but he's got his name on it,
right.
right?
And he
So
got paid for the name.
he continues to get paid for it, right?
Right, so
So I
that's
just
where
seen,
his
and like I said, it was just the first time I'd ever seen any. I guess we can call him a business, any business do that. Where that's the first time I'd ever been exposed to somebody like putting that much value on just their name, their branding,
yeah.
as it were.
I mean that's
Um,
probably why.
yeah. I guess I'd have to look at more to see if other companies actually do that, or
Yeah.
but now the question then becomes: so like if that isn't so like when we talked about Amazon, so is Jeff Bezos' value, his net worth, his personal net worth, which is what that $10 billion was
Hmm.
supposed to be, was Donald Trump's net worth. Does Would Jeff Bezos' net worth also part of that then necessarily be Amazon, or would that stick to Amazon itself as part of the company net worth? See how because
Yeah, I don't
does
know
it?
exactly how
I
that
would
works. I mean, maybe,
I
but
would
I'm not obviously not an insider, so I don't know. I
I
don't
guess
know
it's
how
one of those
it
things.
works.
I would think you have to separate the man from the business, even
Well,
though
I
it's
mean,
the same
he makes
name.
his money. Yeah, well, he makes his money from the business,
But it is Trump
so I don't think you
Industries.
can do that.
It's
Yeah,
like
but I don't think you can separate the business from the man like that in that context, at least.
hmm,
Obviously, there's a difference in suing. You sue the company instead of the CEO.
right.
But other than that, I think you can't, especially when it comes to income. He makes his income from the business.
Well, they say the Muller report is going to come out on Thursday. By the way,
Really? Like to the
apparently,
public or to Congress?
yeah, no, it's. I believe they're going to release it publicly, but they're redacting the shit out of it.
Well, again, they have to, yeah.
Actually, it was funny now, and this is, of course, this is, you know, news. You know how news is, but
Mm,
there are, their source, quoting sources saying that that inform. A lot of the information that's going to be redacted doesn't necessarily need to be redacted because it's not classified information,
of course.
right?
Well, no, there's
Because
a
I
difference between
believe it's
classified. There's a difference between classified information and Fourth Amendment concerns.
but Barr is in charge of that. He's the one that's in charge of the redactions, and of course, he's kind of he's in Trump's pocket in a sense. He was Trump's
Hmm.
pick, um, and in fact, I saw something that was talking about how easy it is for him. Oh, no, 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 because he's got positions where I guess the second in charge people have stepped out of positions, and he's got the second in charges in place, and they're like, they're wanting to make moves to get these people, because he's basically saying, okay, well now you're going to take charge. You're going to be in charge for the time being till somebody else comes in this position, but it's kind of
Yeah.
getting dragged out in some of these roles that nobody's getting put into these positions. Um, but
Ooh, wasn't he confirmed as the Attorney General or no?
Barr, I
Yeah.
believe he was confirmed. Yes, because the acting AG was in place before Barr, or was
Hmm.
Barr the acting?
No, no, he was the acting, but I'm pretty sure he was
Did they
confirmed
confirm him? Because I don't
afterwards.
remember. I don't
Let's
remember
look
if
it up real quick.
I don't remember if I heard anything about
Maybe maybe the chat will get to us first, but I'll look it up.
if there was a committee hearing for Barr. But I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember.
Approved as Attorney General.
Approved?
No, no, no.
Oh, I
That's what
got you.
Google said. Currently serves as the 85th United States Attorney General, having previously served in the position. Oh, he's been there before. Coming
Wasn't he an AG for Obama?
91 to 93, so that would
Oh,
have
that would have
been
been.
to Bush 1,
Was that Bush
wouldn't
one?
it? wouldn't it?
Let me do 1678
Yeah,
to
George
2008.
H.W. Bush. Yeah, it says right here on Wikipedia.
Oh,
Wikipedia wouldn't lie to us.
Barr. Seawall says Barr was confirmed.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. No, I see that right here. He was, yeah.
but a lot
So
of,
yeah, he has been confirmed.
but
So he is the AG right now.
there are plenty of people that won't argue that he was cherry picked. But
Well, I mean, okay, yeah, the president gets to pick who's
sure,
in
sure.
position.
Um,
I mean,
and
everyone gets to do
and I
that.
always think that sucks too. It's like that's one of those things where it kind of goes to the Supreme Court thing for me. God, I hate the fucking Supreme Court, the way it's set up and the way it happens now.
Yeah.
Andrew Yang, something in that regard. It was interesting. He said something. He said because he was being asked about world politics and us having our fingers out there and other people's lives. He's like, one of the things he said was that he wants to put the power back in Congress to declare war. Like it's got to
Well,
be
they've always had the
congressional.
power to,
Well,
but they've been ignored.
right.
Ugh, sorry,
No,
they've been ignored.
but that he wants to take that away. He wants to make sure that that's not an option anymore. He said he wants to make sure Congress it has to be a congressional act to declare war again, like it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Which I can agree with. I'm like, yeah, we don't, because that way leads to chaos, in my opinion. If these, Trump has been the first president that has scared me with the executive order and the pocket veto and the
Yeah, and he's
and
not
the
declared war
pardons.
on anyone.
Well, not yet. No, he hasn't. No, but if he's not going to win in 2020, there's no telling.
I know there's a good conspiracy theory going around that he's trying to lose.
Is Muller
Yeah.
actually working with Barr on the redactions?
Yeah, he is.
All right. So is the hope that Mueller being involved with it will prevent things being redacted that don't have to be redacted? I mean, I want to see. There's stuff I want to see, but you know what I mean. I understand it's a dead fish in the water, but I like a lot of the
I would
American
like to
public
read it
want
as
to
well.
see, right?
I want to see it too. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, if you want to redact names,
Yeah, well, names and things that aren't the general public's business, because of a private person and doing what they want to do, is not anyone else's business. Unless it's illegal, unless it's violating someone's rights or whatever, that's fine. But
when you say someone's private business, like who would you be referring to?
Whoever's involved in the Muller report, as long as they're not doing anything, criminal or immoral, I can give a shit less what they're doing.
Well, and that's what I want to see. I want to see the
information
about
I'll read it.
The criminal acts that were going on.
So, as soon as it comes out, I'm going to read it too. I mean, absolutely.
Because, like I said, I know that they didn't have anything concrete as far as criminal activity on his part. And that's fine, but I do want to have a clear idea of how much corruption was right below his eye level. All of all that bubble that wasn't touching him, apparently.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on in his organization, both campaign and business wise, that it's like, damn, son, there was a lot going on that you didn't know about.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably I think we've said that before on the show. How we just be like, get this shit done. Don't tell me how you did it.
Right. And that is the mindset that I worry about in a presidential capacity.
Yeah.
Because does he approach the presidency the same way?
Are they going to redact Podesta's role in the Manafort bullshit? That's a good question. That's actually a great question.
Now, see, there, and let me ask you this: so if it involves, if there's,
they fucking better not.
They shouldn't redact anything that
has
to do with actual criminal activity,
right?
If it's about Manafort and Podesta, if Podesta was involved in that, but Podesta wasn't charged with anything, was he?
Podesta, I don't think so. I know Manafort was. Which in that case, then yeah, obviously the the Fourth Amendment goes out the window at that point.
I do want to see what they considered inconclusive, right?
He was given immunity. Podesta was, I imagine.
Oh, for
Is what he's talking about.
testimony? Was he given immunity for testimony, wasn't he?
Probably for free, no questions asked. Yeah, it sounds like some
Uh-huh.
swamp draining bullshit. Yeah.
Um, so, well, yeah, I
Anyone
don't.
surprised? Not at all.
Yeah,
No one's surprised.
I'm just I think it'll make for interesting reading. Yes, let's illegally investigate a man campaign and release all of the illegal obtained evidence. Heap it full of partisan opinions and wacky conspiracy theories. Only if every Dem resigns and campaign for Republic replacements. Now, if I'm not mistaken, who put Mueller in place?
That's a good question.
Because what's his name
Wouldn't it have
recused
been?
himself.
Yeah.
Sessions recused himself,
Wouldn't
right?
it have been the
I thought Trump appointed Mueller to take over when Sessions recused himself.
might have been.
Now,
I
granted,
feel like an idiot now
right,
because I don't know off the top of my head.
and granted, I'm not saying it was Trump that instigated the investigation, but
It was
I don't.
Sessions in the Senate. Okay, yeah, it was the Senate. I knew there was some body some governmental
And wasn't
body that
and
appointed
wasn't
him,
that
but I couldn't remember which one it was.
and wasn't it a Republican Senate that put that started that investigation, or did it happen while it was still a Democratic Senate?
Probably would have happened like immediately after, right? Did that shit after Comey leaked his letter.
But now I don't agree that it was an illegal investigation. Or Seawall says, yes, let's
Yeah,
illegally investigate a
investigate a
man's
man.
campaign. But I mean, to investigate a campaign, I don't see that as illegal. I think that's oversight.
Yeah, I
That's
don't think the investigation itself is illegal. Maybe some of the things that they did during the investigation were illegal, but I don't think that the investigation itself is illegal.
I mean,
I mean,
yeah.
if you have a good argument for it, I'll listen to it.
I
But
mean, there was a reason to investigate his campaign because
sure.
fraudulent activity has been found happening in the campaign. Even New York is still
Yeah,
pursuing.
I realize it's based on the Steele dossier, but I still think it's not an illegal investigation.
Right. I mean,
Which
if there that uh, if
Yeah, but the fact is, it needs to be investigated. I realize
right.
that it was a sole piece of evidence for it, but it still needs to be investigated. I don't think it needs to be investigated for 2 years, 3 years, whatever it was. I don't think it needs to be
Oh, sure.
investigated that deeply.
It went on for a long time. But the
It went on for
question.
way too long. It
Well,
should have been, was this true? Oh, this looks like bullshit. Okay, never mind.
let me
That's
ask
all
you
it
this,
should have
John,
been.
about the time
Yeah.
frame. I know it went on for 2 years, and yes, I realize that seems like a long time. But did it go on for 2 years because they were just over investigating it, or was part of that time frame because they kept uncovering another avenue where they found someone else corrupt, someone else breaking the
Yeah.
law? Then of course people were lying, right? So that was
Well,
something else that drags it on because now you've got
the
to deal
thing
with
is,
people
with
lying in their
lying to Congress,
testimony.
the thing is with lying to Congress and lying to the FBI is that sticks around so that they can get you if they want to on some. They have something
Sure.
to get you on because if you have like one minor inconsistency, that's considered lying to the
Well,
FBI or lying to Congress if
I
you testify
understand
to
that.
Congress or if you testify whatever. So I mean that's something that
But we're
just gets
talking
you
about
on if they
people
want
that
to.
have, we're talking about people who have openly admitted that they lied in their original testimonies, right? Now,
Yeah,
where the
and
lies are at, were they actually lying the first time around? Are they lying the second time around? And then we've got Cohen, who we're like not sure when were the lies and when were truths. And now he's even come back and Cohen has said he found, like, I think it's something to the extent of like over 1 million documents that he realized he had, that now he's trying to, and he claims that there's stuff in there that will be important, because he wants to bring that forward and try and get his fucking easy fucking sentence reduced even more,
Mm-hmm.
because he says he's got new dirt, he's got new information,
Yeah,
and
he's
he
gonna
wants
make
to
a
bring
plea
that
deal.
forward, right?
And then right here where Seawall says, hell, the FBI agents with Flynn said he should not have an attorney present. That is illegal. He absolutely has the right to have an attorney present.
And
Yeah, and I agree. Fuck Michael Cohen.
oh
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, fuck him.
you can't tell when Michael Cohen was being honest and when he was lying. I mean, and he set
It's
that
just,
standard
it
for
comes so
himself, right?
naturally.
He set that
Mm-hmm.
standard for himself throughout the whole thing. But now I will say that, as far as every crime that they caught were completely unrelated to the campaign, I could agree with that to a certain extent, except New York and New Jersey are still they're still investigating campaign fraud for the Trump campaign, because there are discrepancies in numbers. There are discrepancies that need to be accounted for. And this is not unusual. This is, you investigate campaigns if you think there's
Mm-hmm.
something that's gone on. And I don't knock them for looking deeper into it, because if anything, when it comes to our government, me, lobbying, this bullshit that happens with money and campaign funds and this, that, and the other, well, okay, look into it till and determine. Now, I don't say necessarily drag it out. If your only goal is to try, just beat a dead horse till you it can come up with something that you can pretend to charge him with, well, that's fucked up. But if you actually see the potential for there to have been fraud, I have no problem with it being investigated.
Yeah, and Seawall just BTFO'd you in the chat. Hey Rob, Obama had over $2 million in illegal contributions. Where was his 2-year investigation with wall-to-wall coverage? They just offered him a fine and to go away. Yeah,
Well,
that is true.
and that is corruption, right? If that happened,
Yeah,
why didn't more people stand up and call foul and
because
shenanigans?
everyone loves Obama. He's so cool.
I mean, that's, this is that thing. It's like,
Plus, I
okay,
mean,
well,
you
why
can't
didn't the
indict.
government
You
do
can't.
this? But why didn't the people stand up and say,
You
no,
also
that's not kosher dill?
because you also can't indict the first black president of the United States.
You can't indict
Can't
any
happen.
president.
No, you can't indict the first black president of the United States.
You can't indict any president. You've got to
Bill Clinton
impeach
got
him, and then
indicted.
you indict the man.
Okay, yeah. So
Because
you
once
can't
he's
impeach
impeached,
the first. You can't impeach the first black president of the United States either.
I disagree
Can't be
with
done.
that.
Well, everyone else in the country pretty much disagrees.
I mean,
Obviously, not everyone.
it's. I
That's right.
I
Obama was the
hear.
greatest president of our time, and you better not disagree. You better not disagree.
I do see a lot of people that do the same thing that Seawall is. Is like, they throw out these things that Obama did.
Obama
And
did a lot
during
of bullshit.
right, yet, when do we, as the people, stand up and say, no, you need to do something about this? Why wasn't there enough outcry to have something happen?
Because people didn't know about it
I think the
at the
same
time.
thing. I'm pissed off that the whole Hillary Clinton email scandal went away as soon as she didn't win the election.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's
Absolute bullshit.
bogus. That should have kept
Yeah.
on going, especially to the extent that now,
Yeah.
we're finding out that both, not only Trump does it some, but even Ivanka and Jared are using personal cell phones and email for official business that they're
Mm-hmm.
involved in. So
Well, Hillary set the precedent. It's okay,
that's what I'm
obviously.
saying. Have we determined that that has set a precedence now? That it's
Clearly.
okay for them to do that? See,
Yeah,
that's
clearly.
where I'm like, this moral outrage that people feel. It's like, well,
It's all
why
just
aren't we outpouring that moral outrage and
it's all just
demanding?
partisan bullshittery. It's what it is. It's just partisan bullshittery. It's okay when our guy does it, but it's not okay when yours does it.
Right.
That's all it is.
And
Yeah.
it's just like the other day we were talking off mic, and we were talking about presidents with the highest kill rate. you know, I did not realize Obama had that title.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
most Americans, if you ask most Americans which president has the highest kill rate, they're going to go back to wartime. They're going to go, they're going to go Truman with the nukes, or we're going to go back to the Civil War. We're going to go into these places and think about it, because it's, the whole
Yeah.
Obama drone thing.
It was so swept under the rug.
Right.
Yeah, that you have no idea.
After he was out of office.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And see, I don't understand why
FDR
Trump's
with World War
people
II.
aren't willing to pursue it. Midget says Trump's cabinet and people are completely unwilling to pursue the email thing, yet he constantly hollers that, he himself saying that they should still go for it. And that they should be pursuing it, and even putting her to the extent of, putting her in jail. And it's like, okay,
It's not going to happen.
She's
a made man. She can't go to jail.
But
It
why
is
wouldn't
physically impossible for her to go to jail.
All
It's
right.
never going to happen. Ever.
It's fun when you say that.
Ever.
It's fun when
It's
you
not
say
fun.
that. But
No, it is fun, but also it's true.
no, she's not going to Jussie Smollett the thing if she
No.
committed a federal crime.
This is not the timeline where she goes to jail. It's not happening.
But my question is, if the leader of an administration thinks it should be pursued, why won't
She
his
could come
people
out.
under him get on board and do something about it?
Hillary could come out and be like, "Yeah, I did that. I'm also responsible for all these people's deaths, and I've done this and that and the other thing." Doesn't matter. She's never going to see a jail cell ever in her entire life. It would never happen. Ever.
Now, see, Seawall just put out there, a lot of Trump's people cannot be trusted. They are deep state too.
Yeah.
Trump can trust very few people around him. Now, I would offer this counterpoint. How many people around Trump can trust Trump?
Can trust him for what?
Trust what he says. Trust his word on things. He talks about loyalty, but as much distrust as he may feel for people around him, how much trust can the people around him have in him as well? Do you consider him a trustworthy person? Trust is not something I add on the list of things about Trump that I like.
I would trust him to do what is good for him.
Yes.
Which makes him predictable if you're in his inner circle.
And that is the ultimate quality right there. That's the character quality I'm talking about. Trust Trump to do what's best for Trump, whereas he's in a position that what is best is for the American people. That's what he should be doing, right?
Of course, but that's what every president should be doing, but almost none of them have.
And once upon a time, we kind of had this idea that it was happening, right? That we could trust our president. But
it was for a while.
Yeah,
we did all right for 100 years or so. We did pretty good.
And I truly wish, Seawall points out that Hillary knows where the bodies are, even with outside of jail.
Yeah, I don't think
she's
she's.
and probably leave a smoking crater where the government used to be. But
none of that is ever going to come to pass. It's not going to happen.
Hillary Clinton, in my opinion, is an impotent individual now. She has no weight. What is she still serving a role in government at all?
Not in government, but she still has influence, especially in the Democratic Party.
And that I would expect is waning on a daily basis. I see her as
Not for a while.
Hillary Clinton has become irrelevant. So,
Mm.
and the power that she may have once wielded, I don't think it's there anymore. So yeah, pursue the fuck out of her if you want to.
It's not going to happen.
if she committed crimes, she should stand. She should stand for
No,
justice.
the thing is, we know she committed crimes, but she's never going to face
Hold
justice.
on.
She's like I said, she's a made man.
But like you
That's it.
said,
You can't touch her.
how do we know she committed crimes? We can know it in our heart that she committed crimes, but again, we have to have evidence, right? You always say you got to have the evidence.
Yeah, of course.
I know in my heart Trump is corrupt, but without
Yeah,
the evidence,
I'm not going to say he's not corrupt, but he's not any more corrupt than any other politician who has ever lived.
I would question that. I would question his level of his inner corruption versus other presidents. I think he could give some of them a run for their money. Now, Clinton, I see the two of them very similar, and not Hillary. I'm talking Bill.
Bill, yeah.
Bill was dirty.
Oh, yeah.
But not necessarily as much in the White House as he was in
well,
his
he's more charismatic.
dealings.
He was more charismatic also than Trump is. Trump is a good rhetorician, but he's not a good orator.
See, and Seawall agrees with me. There was a time when American politicians were
Yeah,
more
he's talking
honorable
about
men.
he's talking about my comment about we did good for like 100 years in having decent presidents and decent politicians. Yeah.
Because they were still shaping a country based off a time frame when the original shaping of the country.
And to be fair, that was also a time. That was also still a time. When what he's talking about is when you could walk up to the president and say, "Hey, Mr. President, what the fuck?" You could actually walk up to him on the street and say, "Hey, what the hell are you doing? This is bullshit."
Now you can't even.
You can still tell him what you thought. Now, I mean, Trump's not going to hear what any of us have to say.
Well, it's about the same thing as emailing your congressman, right? I mean, what are the chances your congressman's even going to see it, right?
It depends on which ones.
I mean, occasionally you might have some that actually flick through some emails, but they usually have somebody that's just,
They usually have someone for that to give you some kind of canned response. Yeah, absolutely. If you get a response at all, yeah.
I was watching. I started watching, and I got interrupted, and I haven't gone back to it. It was, God damn it, Russell Brand. He does a
Oh God,
webcast.
Fucking Russell fucking Brand. He's an idiot, dude. Fuck Russell Brand.
Actually, he's quite.
He's a fucking moron. No, he's a moron.
Why? Why do you say that? What makes him a moron?
Because I've heard the things he used to say before.
Mental deficiency.
Yeah.
I mean,
he has a mental deficiency.
He has an understanding of politics. He has an understanding of culture. But of course, he's coming from England, right?
Yeah.
But he had a fellow on there, and I forget the guy's name, and they were talking about Brexit and this kind of thing, But the fellow made an interesting point. He was talking about the generations because he said, when the vote on Brexit, he said there were two very clear lines that you could draw on the yeses and the nos for the Brexit vote. And he said you could draw the lines on age and you could draw the line on income, wealth. Or economic class. He said it was very, there were some very clear divides there where the younger people were voting,
leave,
leave, and the older generations were voting no. But he said he said something that he finds that he thinks sets the difference in generations now was that the younger generations that we have currently look to the future. They look to the future 10, 15, 20 years, and it's uncertain. They don't know what our landscape is going to look like in the next 10, 15, 20 years. Because there's not a stability there. Whereas older generations, back in the day, you kind of had an idea that we were continuing on this path, and in 10 years we were going to be here. We're going to be a little bit better off, or a little more forward, a little more along this path, whereas now the younger generations, particularly Gen Z, don't see, don't have any kind of clear idea of where we're going to be.
Yeah.
When the next generation comes around,
Because there's a lack of experience, obviously a lack of experiences.
Well, there's
therefore a lack of wisdom.
Well,
right?
The cultural landscape is having an impact on that. This is one of the things he pointed out, because the cultural landscape is causing divides, and it's causing, like if you look over in Europe, it's causing the cultural situation is causing laws to go in place that are counterintuitive to a civilized society.
What Midget B says exactly. If they only would wait 15 years for another referendum, let's just keep having a referendum until we get the votes we want. Let's do that until we get the result that we want. That sounds like fun. Let's do that.
But no, I just thought it was kind of interesting. I hadn't really thought about it that way. But he said that if you ask a lot of young people, so what is our country going to look like in 10, 20 years? They're like, we have no idea. We don't know.
So
it's an unclear picture.
So Robert, real quick, I have an ultimatum for you. Either I'm going to go real quick and take a piss, or we can end the show. Up to you, because I'm down for keeping continue.
We've already gone for an hour.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's up to you which one you want to do.
Already.
Well, no, it happened really quick, but I also have to piss like a racehorse.
Well, I do too. I figured these guys have probably heard enough of my head up my ass.
Well, let's leave it up to them.
Let's
leave it up to them. Do you guys want to keep going, or do you want to just end it? Are you guys sick of us yet? We got 5 people watching, but only 2 people in the chat. So you guys need to fucking get your shit together and be in the chat.
Actually, Midget.
Just saying.
I will say this: Midget says it's because they're unambitious and educated, stupid. But actually, most of the reports are saying that Gen Z is kind of a very
Gen Z is more conservative than the millennial
generation. But they are. The ambition is there, but it's being balanced with entitlement.
No, Seawall. I'm actually going to fit myself with a catheter on Friday, so I won't have to get up at all. I'm joking. Obviously, I'm not going to do that.
Get some
fucking That would be fucking painful.
Get some fucking Depends or something. Jesus Christ.
That'd be fucking gross.
I mean, you've got to. What are you going to do for 12 hours on Friday?
Well, I mean, I'll be able to take a break once in a while. Be able to get up and move around.
No breaks.
All the breaks. I'm talking about wanking young Ramoners. Yeah, but that still didn't determine whether or not we should keep going with tonight's episode or we should end it now. So you guys should answer that question.
Yeah,
that would be nice. Yeah, that would be really nice. Because I'm going to pee either way.
You know what? I got to go
the next minute or so.
You know what? Let's wrap this up. I got to go file my taxes anyway if the website's done with their maintenance.
Oh my God, are you serious? 2 hours before you're supposed to file them?
What difference does it make?
I'm just saying that's fucking procrastination. I thought I procrastinated.
Did I tell you why we procrastinated?
No.
Because we expected to pay money. Most people who have to pay money
get
on
fucked.
the 15th.
Whatever. I agree with
that. You don't want that bill to start before the 15th.
I agree with Midget. I agree with Midget B. Piss off.
Yeah. Oh, and John, don't complain about when people do their taxes when you don't even do your own.
Yeah.
You fucking whiny remoaner.
I'm not a remoaner. What the fuck? I'm a Brexiter. I mean, not that it matters because I'm an American, so my opinion has no effect on them. But yeah, fuck that, dude. Sovereignty all the way.
Well, they say Americans are the cause of all the controversy with Brexit.
Well, no, Trump is, obviously.
No, Americans. Specifically long-haired, bearded Americans with small testicles.
Damn, I guess I am the problem. I guess I'm problematic.
But we're going to solve that problem on Friday. John, send us out. What are we doing on Friday? One more time. Let's get the hell out of here.
Yes. Charity stream for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Be there or be gay as fuck.
Which one looks like
you know what? It's okay to be it's okay to be gay as fuck. But if you're not there, then you will be gay as fuck. So, just saying.
All right, folks, we appreciate
it. It'll be fucking awesome. Be there.
All right, folks, we appreciate you coming out tonight and giving us some chit-chat in the chit-chat about our bullshit that we're shitting and shooting. Hit the like button if you like what you heard. Talk to some people, get some subscribers on. Make sure and pull some friends in on Friday. We need all the money we can get for St. Jude's. It's all going to go directly to St. Jude's. We're not skimming off the top. We're not doing any kind of fraudulent activity, and we are not going to have Manafort or Cohen involved in any way, shape, or form. So you can feel free to donate and know that your money is going to help a good cause. So after having said that, you folks have yourselves a good night. John, have yourself a good night. And please, John, don't forget, fuck off.
Yeah.
All right, peace out, folks.